Juliana Pena has called for an interim championship as it pertains to Amanda Nunes because Amanda is out. Now, Amanda came down with COVID. That was well made very publicly, but does it matter? Does it matter why you're out? I mean, if you're out, you're out. Juliana makes a reasonable point. I don't know the time frame on COVID. I don't believe Amanda is in a situation like, say, Chimaev went through, where it's going to be a period of time. I just haven't heard anything like this. So even if it's a small period, I still want to stay on that theme. I love interim championships. I think it builds for a fight. I love that it's opportunity, and I love to see when a division doesn't get log jammed, because that can be very tough. If you're sleeping on couches and making your way into the big show, and then once you make it, you're struggling every single day, all because you have a goal and a dream, and somebody takes that goal or dream. And I don't mean that they beat you. They just take it and they put it on pause, which is what happens when a champion gets jammed up and can't go in there to defend. It's very frustrating for the guy. So I just like to see the interim championship. That's just me speaking. But I do like the point that Juliana is bringing up. And I think that more girls should bring this up and start to demand an interim championship. If Amanda is going to fight at 135, then the gals at 145 should be demanding an interim championship for 145. And there would be nothing wrong with doing that. Amanda's not going to say you can't do that. She realizes she's got to pick one, fight one. She's cloaked in success right now, and it's just going to help to build a division. It's going to provide with opportunity. Look, I don't think we're going to get our way here. And this idea isn't even fully formed. I've got a hold of the right tool, but maybe by the wrong end. I'm a little bit clumsy, but guys, help me out here. Because there is something to be said for this interim championship. Look what it just did for Surreal. Surreal Gong versus Francis Ngannou was never going to happen. Surreal Gong versus Francis Ngannou is not in the least bit interesting. These are all things I could have said to you a week ago, and you would have co-signed it. Now, Surreal Gong versus Francis Ngannou cannot get here quick enough. Surreal Gong versus Francis Ngannou, who still train together. I've heard reports come out, guys, that you guys are talking about they used to train in France back when it was the striking days. That's true. But what you may not know is they trained together as recently as a month ago. Randy Couture's gym in Las Vegas, that is the footage that you're seeing circulating the internet. Many people have captioned that, and they think that's over from France years ago in pure striking. No, that was MMA in Randy's gym in May. So I only bring this because there's a lot of moving parts, but they're parts that wouldn't have been there. And it's not that Surreal beat Derek Lewis. It's that Surreal became the interim champion in beating Derek Lewis. There's a lot of media. There's a lot of buzz. Things change when that belt goes up. There's a reason. Say you take two athletes, and they're going to go out and compete. Now let's say you take those same two athletes, and they're going to compete in the exact same event that you just imagined in your mind, but now it's for the Olympic championship. Do you see where it's different? And do you see where the winner is going to be viewed and looked at differently? Of course you do. Speaking of the Olympics and speaking of heavyweights, you guys seeing this Gable Steveson? If you guys aren't familiar with who Gable Steveson is, I would encourage you to get on board very quickly, and not as fight fans. Gable is a protege of Brock Lesnar. Gable is going to go down the road of entertainment instead of competitive MMA. But Gable Steveson has to be considered, even if he's never thrown a punch, he has to be considered in your top 10 list for the baddest dudes walking the planet. Gable gets put into the Olympic Games with how to seed. He goes into the heavyweight class. Okay. The World and Olympic Championship, the last 5 years, has been contested between the same two guys. All right? Gio and Akul. Every single time. And they've traded it back and forth, but it's Gio versus Akul. 3 for Akul, 2 for Gio. Because Gable doesn't get a seed, he has to go through them both. So in the quarterfinal round of the Olympic Games, he has to beat the defending Olympic champion. In the finals of the Olympic Games, he has to beat the world champion. And he did. He beat them both. So Gable's just one of these interesting characters that I bring to you because he's 21 years young. He's a national champion from Minnesota. He's going to finish out his degree. I don't know that he's going to wrestle for the Gophers next year. I see Triple H talking about him. I see Stephanie McMahon talking about him on social media. I think they're going to get their hooks to him and bring him over. And he is going to be a tremendous asset. And quite frankly, I don't know who else's ass this guy's got to kick. He was a cadet world champion, a junior world champion. Now he's the Olympic Games champion. I feel like he's done enough to solidify himself, but it is very interesting to see how quickly these things happen. How interesting it is to see how quickly guys can come up. Look,